Today is Monday, Parashat Shemini. We're learning the Mussar from Chok Israel. Today the Mussar speaks first about the great merit of doing a Brit Milah for one's child. And then he goes on to say about certain mitzvot that have a great importance. Gmilut Chasadim, doing acts of kindness. Ubikor Cholim, and visiting the people who are sick. Nowadays, even if somebody is ill and lives far away, you can, even with a phone call, bring some uplifting to his spirits and fulfill the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim. Of course, visiting is important, or making at least a phone call. Va'ava'at Shalom, and bringing peace between people. You know, that people that have a conflict, a discord, and you make peace between them. V'achnasat Orhim, and bringing hospitable to people who need hospitality. Could be people who are traveling or people who don't have a place for a meal. Hen me'elu dvarim, these mitzvot that we just mentioned now, hen me'elu dvarim she'adam ochel peoratehem ba'olam hazeh. These are among the things for which a person gets a reward. He eats the fruits in this world. Va'keren, but the main reward, kayemet lo le'olam haba, remains intact for him in the world to come. Va'osek b'Torah ugmilut chasadim, when a person occupies himself and learns Torah, and also is involved with acts of kindness, Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says about such a person, Ma'ale ani alav, ki'ilu peda'ani li ulvanai biben ha'umot. Hashem would consider that person as if he redeemed, so to speak, Hashem and his children and the Jewish people from among the nations. Vehi midato shel Avraham Avinu. And this is the character trait, the idea of acts of kindness. It's something that was very representative of what Avraham Avinu was about. Like the Pasuk says, Titen emet le'Yaakov, Chesed le'Avraham. The Chesed, the kindness, is the quality of Avraham Avinu. Uchtiv, and we have another pasuk in Mishle that says, Rodev tzedakah v'chesed. A person who pursues tzedakah v'chesed, tzedakah, righteousness, charity, and chesed, and doing acts of kindness. Yimtza, such a person will find chayim, life, tzedakah, the opportunity to do tzedakah. Hashem will bless him with more. V'chavod, and also honor. V'abaye, and there's a rabbi by the name of Abaye, the Atami Bet Eli, who was one of the descendants of Eli HaKohen, and on his descendants it was decreed that they would have short lifespan. Still, because the Asak Bigmilut Chasadim, because he was occupied with Gmilut Chasadim, with acts of kindness, Hosifulo Esim Shana, they added to him 20 years more. Yoter min Rabbi Bar Nachmani Rabba, more than Rabbi Bar Nachmani was his Rav. The great value of kindness, of acts of kindness, extends a person's lifespan. Umatzilin midina shel Gehinnom v'din chibut hakever, and it saves a person from the suffering and the judgment in Gehinnom, in the kever, in the grave. Kanizkan le'el, like we mentioned earlier in another chapter. Kviut itim la Torah, setting time aside for learning Torah. In other words, to fix time for learning Torah. Itba'er b'sha'ar he be'inyan litzanut. It was already explained regarding those who mock the Torah in another chapter. It spoke there about the idea of fixing time for Torah. Venoda, and it's known, ki Talmud Torah shkula keneged kol mitzvot. Learning Torah is equal, it's considered equal to all the other commandments. Utchilat dino shel Adam, the beginning of a person's judgment after 120 years, the first question that a person is asked, Ka'avata itim la Torah. Did you set aside times for Torah study? And this is not just for rabbis, it's for every single Jew has the idea of setting aside time and fixing certain moments in the week, in the day, for learning Torah. And we learn this from the pasuk that the beginning of judgment of a person is, did you set aside time for learning Torah? We learn from the pasuk, poter mayim reshit madon, which means the opening of water, and water is a symbol of the Torah. Reshit madon is the beginning of judgment. So this was the Mussar for today from Chok L'Israel for Monday, Parashat Shemini. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.